Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here at Apex 2020 and I'm joined by Tim from Arch Systems. Tim is the CTO. You're going to be speaking this afternoon, I think, with one of your colleagues, customers. Tell me a bit about the presentation and the topic.
Okay. Yeah, so we're talking about the hidden cost of data silos. And the basic idea is that, a lot of machines, vendors are creating a lot of data, customers are using it for various purposes, often in real-time uses on the factory floor. And so data ends up in various different silos, maybe an MES system, maybe in a vendor database, maybe in a material management system, and you get value from it. But there's also value sort of by unifying it all together and looking holistically across your entire factory, across your fleet of factories. And we're talking about the practical challenges that come in, the hidden costs that come in when you try to unify that data before you're able to get cross-sectional value out of it.
Okay. And so when you look at that siloed data, there's a cost that's financial or a cost in terms of risk, or how do you qualify that?
So we consider a cost in terms of human labor to do that sort of manual massaging, manual putting it together, and that adds cost before you get to ROI and seeing the data. So it's just a tax basically on these Industry 4.0 efforts of before you're able to even explore and see, hey, how much money could I save if we're able to put this together? You have to first pay the cost of getting this database and that API and that other database talking together so you have the data set you need in order to know if it's going to be valuable. And it slows everything down and adds risk to your project because you don't know what the ROI is going to be until you see the data and do the analytics on it, but you can't put it together until you pay the cost.
Okay, so silo's bad. Yeah. I mean, we know that in all walks of life, you start throwing things over the wall, there's risk and there's cost associated with that. One assumes there's a better way.
Yeah, correct. So if you look at other industries that have these sort of similar data silos, I'm also seeing across the industry more standardization, sort of IPC CFX coming out, Semi producing ELS, Hermes, all these things talking about machines coming together. What we're seeing is there's a need for basically a standardized way to load all this information into standard format, standard way of accessing it that's compatible, and not just standard, but compatible with modern large-scale data science tools like machine learning, like neural networks, like time series analysis, so that when you want to ask a question, the data is already there, already ready, sitting in a large-scale data warehouse in a format that you can consume efficiently with a modern data science team, such that you can very quickly see, hey, is this application, does it have ROI? Can I check it and do a quick proof of concept and then scale it up and not have to spend the first 2-3 months of your project getting your data set together before you can then check and see if it's going to work.
Okay, so when I look at the process of Industry 4.0 or digital transformation of a manufacturing facility, there are certain stages they go through and there are certain layers in terms of the software stack, if you like. And the first stage is to get every machine connected, and obviously as a business you're involved at that point. And then you've got the stages of what do you do with the data. So where do you see the areas that Arch has something unique and compelling?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, one of the areas we work very well with is getting data out of machines, especially legacy ones that are not fully standardized. We have a part of our business that does that very well. We then standardize data from those machines and other machines into a standard format. And we don't focus so much on the real-time control aspects or the MES side of the house. What we see is we find overall ROI-driven solutions on top of data looking across an entire fleet of factories.
Okay. So you start at the kind of the bottom level in terms of machine to machine and machine to host communication, and then you leave this middle section to the existing incumbents, and then there's a new kind of overarching new layer.
Correct.
On top.
Yeah. So we see it as more of adjacent to the MES, more of a factory optimization system focused on things like predictive maintenance on machines. MES is often focused on, hey, I want to see my data in terms of product. What happened to my product? And that makes sense. You need that for your factory. There's another way to cut that same data, which is what happened across all my products on a given machine. Is my machine trending in a certain direction, which will eventually show up as product failures, but by looking at it in a different way, with a different cross-section, looking across machines, across products, you can find problems before they show up in your MES and start driving much more efficient processes.
Yeah, and you're speaking this afternoon, I think, with a customer who's a partner. Are you presenting case study material? What are you presenting there from their side of it?
So from their side, basically, they're talking about some of the work we've done together and their journey. As you said, there's different layers, different software companies go through, process of getting to Industry 4.0. So they're sort of presenting where they are in the process, what they've done together with us, what they've done internally in terms of other projects, and how that sort of set up this need that they see which then now we're talking about, all right, they have a lot of data silos. How do we put them together? How do we get value out of it? And what is the value?
Yeah, so everything's coming up vertically. You're bringing it all together, but then you're doing the overall efficiency and ROI calculations on top of that. Sounds like a very compelling story, a compelling presentation. I wish you every success with it, and good luck this afternoon. And
Thank you
thanks
very
for
much.
stopping by to
Yeah,
chat.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Tim.